we will discuss teaching pronunciation. How to teach pronunciation. Teaching pronunciation. Also, I forgot to tell you that last time I wrote this word. This is the right spelling. Threshold. Threshold. Okay, this is the right spelling. Maybe I wrote it in the wrong. Yes, it has only one H and it's one word. Okay, so this is threshold. The word threshold means the level, yes, the level beyond which you reach something different. العتبة الفارغة. Threshold. This is how we spell it. I misspelled it last week. Okay, so teaching pronunciation. We will discuss 4 elements today. Why pronunciation is important. Why pronunciation is important. Then we will have what to teach when we deal with pronunciation. Okay. So, the importance of pronunciation, what to teach when we deal with pronunciation, methods of teaching pronunciation, and ways to improve the pronunciation of our students. So, we will discuss 4 elements, okay? First is, why do you think pronunciation is important? Why is pronunciation important? You tell me 3 reasons for the importance of pronunciation. You tell me, why do you think pronunciation is important? By the way, pronunciation in the field of EFL teaching is called the Cinderella of EFL teaching. The Cinderella. Why? Because usually pronunciation is neglected. In the field of EFL, many teachers neglect pronunciation. The way Cinderella was neglected by her what? By her what? Stepmother. Yes, by her stepmother. As you know, Cinderella was tortured and was neglected by her stepmother. The same happens with pronunciation in the classroom. So that's why methodologists compare pronunciation to Cinderella. Because teachers ignore and neglect the importance of pronunciation. The same way with Cinderella and her stepmother. So tell me why pronunciation is important. Yes?
Because if I don't know the right pronunciation, I won't speak a true English.
Of course, if you don't know the right pronunciation, you will not be able to understand or be understood. If you don't pronounce the word correctly, you will not be able to understand the person or be understood. For example, if I tell you, write, I see roads. Write these 2 words or this expression. I see roads. Who can write I see roads? How do you spell I see roads?
I-C-Y R-O-S-E.
Okay, and I can say I see roads. I see roads. So if I'm not really keen about pronunciation, I will not understand the spoken message. I can say I see roads. So this is I see roads and this is I see roads. What happened here? Here we changed the stress. So stress can make the meaning different. Can change the difference of can make the meaning different. Here we say I see roads. I see, here the stress is on the first syllable, on the word I see. And here the stress is the second on the verb I see. I see roads. I see roads or I see roads. So anyway, why is pronunciation important also? Yes, what's your name? Amal.
Because
It's one of the basic sub-skills of learning any language. Very good. It's one of the basic sub-skills of learning any language. And without proper pronunciation, you will not be understood, or you will not be able to understand anybody. Yes, Marwa. Huh? Because in English, as we say, there are some words which have different meanings according to the way we pronounce them. A word like present, for example. Present. We have present and we have present. Present is different from present. The way you pronounce the word determines its meaning, not the way we spell it. Some words are spelled the same but have different pronunciation, and according to their pronunciation, their meaning appears. Okay? So anyway, pronunciation is very, very important. Now let's move to the second part, which is what are some of the difficulties that face EFL teachers when they teach pronunciation. When you as English teachers teach pronunciation, what are the problems that encounter you? Tell me, what are the problems of teaching pronunciation to Egyptian students? So the first part we said, pronunciation is very important. We should stress pronunciation in the classroom. Do you know which approach of the three approaches stress pronunciation? Which approach of the three approaches we discussed stress pronunciation? Oral. Communicative, yes, it stresses pronunciation, but not as much as the oral. The oral approach stresses pronunciation highly. The communicative, yes, it emphasizes pronunciation, but not to that degree that the oral approach emphasizes pronunciation. Now, tell me some difficulties that face you as teachers, or you even as learners, when you learn English as a foreign language. Amen. Amen. Amen.
The great effect of the mother tongue on the tongue.
Very good. Number one, the interference of the mother tongue. Very good. So the interference of the mother tongue creates problems in pronunciation, right? How many sounds or how many letters in the English alphabet do we have? 26. In English, we have 26 letters. In Arabic, how many letters? 28. So this seems that which language has more sounds? Arabic. Arabic seems to have more sounds than English. No, this is not true. It's the other way around. Although Arabic has 28 letters and English has 26 letters, but English has more sounds, more phonemes than Arabic. Let me explain this. In English, how many vowels do we have? 5, which are what? A, E, I, O, U. In English, we have 5 vowels. Out of these 5 vowels, we have about 22 vowel sounds. Notice that. In English, we have 5 vowels. But out of the 5 vowels, we have 22 vowel sounds, 22 phonemes. Vowel phonemes. We have 22 phonemes. Plus, how many consonants do we have in English? Consonants, 21. So we have 21 consonants. So this makes about 43 sounds. But in Arabic, how many sounds do we have? About 28. So in English, we have about 43 sounds. But in Arabic, we have about 28 sounds. So English has more sounds than Arabic, which creates a problem. In Arabic, how many vowels do we have in Arabic? About 3, which are what? A, E, O. Alif, والواو, والياء. Yes, these are the vowels. A, O, E. الفتحة, والضمة, والكسر. Right? We have 3. And sometimes we have short ones and long ones. We have A, U, E, E in Arabic. So in Arabic we have 6, but in English we have 22. Look at this. This sound, this is I sound. I sound. And this is sound. This sound doesn't exist in Arabic. The sound doesn't exist in Arabic. So many Egyptians, many Arabic-speaking students, when they say sit, they say sit, yes, correctly. But when they say this word, they say sit. So this is set, and this is sit. Sit, set. This is 6, sex, sound. And this is bill, 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 bill. So one major problem that faces learners or teachers when they teach or learn the foreign language, English foreign language, is the existence of some phonemes in English which don't have counterparts in Arabic. Okay? This is what we call the interference of the mother tongue, roughly speaking. So in Arabic, we have some phonemes. What's a phoneme? What do we mean by phoneme? The smallest sound. Okay? The smallest sound in a word. For example, a word like book. How many phonemes do we have in the word book? Yeah, Sheikh. Book. 3. Bet. Okay. 3 phonemes. So a word like book, the word book has 4 letters. But how many phonemes? 3. Okay? So, in English, we have some phonemes that do not exist in Arabic. In English, we have some phonemes that do not exist in Arabic. Like this one. We don't have this in Arabic. We have this in Arabic. Sit, set, set. We don't have this in Arabic. Okay? So there are some phonemes in English that do not exist in Arabic. And this creates a problem. What happens? We tend to substitute the sound that does not exist in Arabic with one which exists in Arabic. So instead of saying 6, we say 6. This is sex, we say it as 6. A word like this is 10. We tend to say 10. 9, 10. If we say 9, 10, we are saying this word. This is 10. Okay? So whenever you say 10, this is 10. 9, 10. We don't say 9, 10. If we say 10, we are substituting the S sound with an I sound. This sound exists in Arabic. This does not exist in Arabic. So we substitute some sounds which don't exist in Arabic with their counterparts which exist in Arabic. Understand? Yes. So what's the first problem that encounters the existence of some phonemes which in English which don't have counterparts in Arabic? An example is the S sound. This is at the vowel level. Many of you, for example, also, how do you say this word? Could. No? Code. 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 This is code, not could. The same happens with home, not whom. We say home. Home, sweet home. Home. This is home. And this is code. the same sound, the same vowel sound. Oh, this is a diphthong. Oh, we don't have diphthongs in Arabic. Diphthongs don't exist in Arabic. Okay? If they exist in very rare occasions. But in English, what do you mean by diphthongs? Did you study this? Two vowels that happen together. Ow, oh, oi. We don't have oi in Arabic, for example. This word like oil, oil. We don't have oi in Arabic. This is a phoneme which does not exist in Arabic, and it represents some problem for Arabic-speaking students. Okay? So, problem number one, the existence of some phonemes which do not have counterparts in the student's mother tongue. Understand? I told you before, at the consonant level, what are the consonants that exist in English but don't have counterparts in Arabic? Tell me the consonants which are in English, but they do not have similar consonants or similar sounds in English. Q, we have Q. Q, K. Yes, Q is K. X, this one? No, in English. In English that don't have similar sounds or counterparts in Arabic. X, we have X in Arabic. X, how many sounds in the word X? In the letter X? 3. I, K, S. We have the I, we have the K, and we have the S in Arabic. Very good. This one. Do we have this in Arabic? No. We don't have this in Arabic. What do we have instead? This one. Okay? And this is a major problem for Arabic-speaking students. This is a major problem for Arabic-speaking students. I can assure you that 95% of you cannot distinguish between these two phonemes. I said 95%, maybe you are 5%. Okay? A very famous word, this is what? Pray. Pray. And and this one? Do you know what this means? If you meet an American and you tell them, we Muslims or we Christians go to mosque or go to church to pray. And instead of saying pray, you say bray. Do you know bray means the sound of the donkey? So you will tell them, we, instead of saying we pray 5 times a day, we bray 5 times a day. Of course, they will laugh at us. So it's very important to distinguish between the pe and the be. We will learn now later on how to differentiate or how to teach these two phonemes because they represent a major problem. Yes? Yes, we'll discuss this later on. So the phoneme pe does not exist in Arabic. Okay? But the phoneme be exists in Arabic. Okay? Also, this phoneme, do you have this in Arabic? No. So usually our students, when they say this word, they will say it what? Fan. Which is different. Many students find it difficulty to say the word van because the phoneme the does not exist in Arabic. The phoneme the exists in English and exists in almost all the European languages, but not in Arabic. It came to us as Egyptians through the Turkish culture. In Turkey, they have the v sound. But in Arabic, we don't have this v sound. We have the f sound. So those of you who cannot say the v sound are very much closely related to the Arabic language. So if you cannot say the word mirvet, you say it as mirfet. You say mirfet. You cannot say mirvet. So you are Arabic related. Okay? So we should distinguish between the th and the fe. So these are other phonemes which exist in English but don't exist in Arabic. Okay? This phoneme also, the ch, the affricate phoneme, the affricate voiceless ch. We don't have this in Arabic. So many students cannot say ch sound. They say it sh. And instead of church, they say church. And instead of teacher, they say t-shirt. T-shirt. Okay, march, they say march. So we should know that there are some sounds which exist in English and they don't have counterparts in Arabic. Okay? So problem number one, as I said, sounds which exist in English but don't have counterparts in Arabic, automatically the students will substitute this letter to that letter, or this sound to that sound. Understand? This is a major problem. Okay? And how do we deal with this? Very simple. We use minimal pairs. We use minimal pairs. What do we mean by minimal pairs? Who can tell me? So the technique we use to help students distinguish between two different phonemes is called minimal pairs. What do you mean by minimal pairs? Minimal pairs are two words which have exactly the same number of phonemes, but they differ only in one phoneme. Again, these are minimal pairs. All these are minimal pairs. Minimal, minimal pairs. Pairs means what? Two. So minimal pairs are two words which share the same number of phonemes, but they differ only in one phoneme. Here, they differ, the word sit and the word set. They differ in which phoneme? The eh and the ah. These are different. Here, for example, van and fan. They differ in which phoneme? The ve and the fe. But the eh and the ne, the eh and the ne are the same. Right? Here, pray and the pray are also minimal pairs. So if you have two words which have the same number of phonemes, exactly, but they differ only in one phoneme, this is called minimal pairs. And we use minimal pairs to enable the students to distinguish between different phonemes. The phonemes that exist in English but don't exist in Arabic. We use minimal pairs. One major technique to help the students distinguish between these two phonemes is minimal pairs. Understand? No. So how do we deal with the problem of the existence of some phonemes in English that do not have counterparts in Arabic? Through minimal pairs. Okay? Understand? When we talk about teaching pronunciation, we should refer to a very important issue which is called the accent. The accent. What's the accent? People talk or people speak the language differently. We have a word like accent and we have another similar word which is the dialect. The dialect refers to speaking the language within the same country by different groups of people. For example, people of Alexandria speak Arabic differently from the people of Damietta, for example, or Upper Egypt. Every area in the country has its own dialect. For example, if you live in America, the people of New York have a different dialect of English than the people of Texas, for example, because they live in different geographical areas. Living in a different geographical area gives you some linguistic features which are different from other people who live in another part of the country. Even here, for example, people who live in Simbalawen, when they speak, we can tell that they are not from Mansour. Or people who live in Matariyah, they have a different dialect than people who live in Mansour. Within even the same area, people have different dialects. But accent refers to learning a second or foreign language. For example, we speak English with an Egyptian what? Accent or dialect? Accent. We speak English with an Egyptian accent. A guy from Saudi Arabia, he will be speaking English with a what accent? Huh? Somebody from Saudi Arabia, Saudi. He will be speaking English with an Egyptian accent. What accent? Saudi accent. Okay? A guy from France, he will be speaking English with a what accent? French accent. So people speak the target language influenced by their own language. Okay? Negro? Negro dialect. Negro dialect. They have, yes. Negro, we really, this word is not used anymore because it has a very bad connotation. Black, they say black English. A different dialect, yes, a different dialect. It's called black English, not Negro English. They no longer, or even African, yes, Afro-American English. Okay, Afro-American English. Anyway, again, we speak the target language with an accent, but we speak our own language with a what? Dialect. So we speak Arabic with a Mansourian dialect, for example, but we speak English with an Egyptian accent. Okay? I would like to let you know that there is one major reason for creating the accent. How accents happen, for one major reason. When we teach the target phonological system the same way as we teach our own phonological system. What does this mean? Excuse me. When you teach pronunciation for your students, it's not recommended that you tell your students that this B is like the Arabic B, or this T is like the Arabic T. If you do this, you are helping them to pronounce the target phonemes the same way as they pronounce their own phonemes. Understand? This way you help them create what? Accent. So how do we help our students? We should not do that. We should not teach the sound system of the target language and compare it to the phonemes of the mother tongue. Understand? Again, if you compare the phonemes of the target language with the phonemes of the mother tongue, you are helping your students create an accent. So you should start without telling them that this B is similar to the Arabic B because they are not similar. There is a phonological rule. I want you to write it down. Write this phonological rule. Write this phonological rule. There are no two sounds. Write it down. No two sounds which come from two different languages. Write this phonological rule. It's very important. No two sounds which come from two different languages are exactly the same even if they look similar. Again, even if they look similar. No two sounds which come from two different languages are exactly the same even if they come from, if they look similar. What does this mean? The phoneme B in English and the phoneme Ba in Arabic, they look similar, but they are not the same. If we teach our students that this B is similar to the Arabic B, we are creating the accent. Understand? So what do? We should exclude our phonological system from teaching the new phonological system of the target language. We should not refer to our phonological system, otherwise our students will not be pronouncing English sounds, they will be pronouncing what? Arabic sounds. Once they pronounce Arabic sounds, accent happens. Understand? So who can summarize how accent happens? Who can tell me how accent happens? How can accent happen? Who helps develop the accent? The teacher. How? How can, or why do some teachers help develop their students' accent? Why? Yes, what's your name? Marwa.
Because he tries to
compare
between the Arabic language and the other language.
Very good. If you compare the target sound with the mother tongue sound and let your students believe that they are the same, you are creating the accent. Understand? Because the phonological rule says no two sounds are exactly the same even if they look similar. The B in Arabic is similar to the B in English, but they are not the same. If we analyze the phoneme, there are some apparatuses, tools that analyze the phonemes. For example, if I ask an American boy to say this sound, B, and an Egyptian boy to say this sound, and I analyze the two sounds, they will not be the same. Velocity means the strength of the phoneme, the highness of the phoneme, the loudness of the phoneme. All these will be different from one phoneme to another. Understand? So how do we help create accents? By helping our learners to compare the two different phonemes together. Understand? So, back to what we were saying about problems of teaching pronunciation. Number one, we said, what was the first problem? Existence of some sounds which don't have counterparts in the mother tongue. What else? What's another problem? How do we say this word, for example? Through. Okay? Through. What happened to the GH?
Silent.
Do we have this in Arabic?
No.
So, what causes another problem? Yes?
That we have some words in pronunciation that teachers don't take care of.
Very good, but I want very simple, short answer. Do we have silent letters in Arabic? No, usually not. Usually, generally, we don't have silent letters in Arabic. In very few cases, or in rare cases, we have silent letters in Arabic. But in English, English is full with silent letters. It has many silent letters. When we say this word, what happens to the L? Silent. When we say this word, what happened to the I? Silent. We say friend. The I is silent. Here, the I is silent. You might not know that. But we say friend. We don't say friend. No, friend. If we say friend, then we are saying the IE as long E. But we don't say that. Because English has the phenomena of silent letters. Do you know why English has silent letters? Why? Because English is not a phonetic language. English is not a phonetic language. Arabic is a phonetic language. English is not. What do you mean by phonetic language? Who can tell me? No, phonetic.
There is two language, American and
A phonetic language is a language
American have
in which it is pronounced the way it is written. Again, a phonetic language is a language where the letter or where the words are pronounced the same way that they are written. Yes, تكتب كما تنطق, تنطق كما تكتب. This is phonetic language. But non-phonetic language is a language where the words are pronounced differently from the way they are written. Very good. So English, is English phonetic language or non-phonetic language? Non-phonetic language. Because many times you look at the word and you try to pronounce it the way it's written, you end up with a wrong pronunciation. Look at this word, for example. See? This is what? A. And we say it what? It's non-phonetic language. We say all as if this A is what? O. Right? We say this word. Word. But this word, this one. Word. This is A. We say it word. This is O. We say it word. It's non-phonetic language. So one major problem for teaching English as a foreign language in terms of its pronunciation is that English is not a phonetic language. Consequently, English has many silent letters. Many silent letters. This word. How do you say this word? What's that? Kaf. Kaf is British pronunciation. Kaf is American pronunciation. Kaf or calf. Kaf or calf is the baby cow. The baby cow. Or the baby dolphin. The baby dolphin is called calf. Or baby cow. Baby animal is called calf. Okay? Baby animal is called calf. The L is silent. Half or half. Yes, the same. Half or half. Also, L is silent. So, knife, K is silent. Walk, talk. Okay? Many, 8, GH is silent. So, English is plagued. Let's use this word. Plagued. Plagued. Plague means what? موبوء. Plague معناها black death. Yes. يعني English is plagued by silent letters. وطبعا silent letters represent a major problems when we teach pronunciation. right? How do we overcome the problem of silent letters? How do we overcome the problem of silent letters? Yes. Show transcription to the students. This is for advanced learners.
Make the student write the word and
Make the students write the word.
and put it in the blackboard and compare it.
Write the word on the blackboard and say it. Kaf. You might be surprised to know that there are rules for silent letters. There are rules for silent letters. Like, for example, if we have M plus B, we say, what's this word? Lamb. The B is silent. So any B that comes after M, the B is silent. So this is a rule. Any B. For example, this one. How do you say this? Comb. Comb. Okay? Tomb. See, this word is comb, but this word is tomb. English is a non-phonetic language. You should have said this is comb, like tomb, but this is comb, and this is tomb. This is O, and this is oo. This is long O, and this is diphthong O. Yes. Okay, we'll come to this in a minute. Very good. Huh? Well, I don't recommend that. You use drill. You use drill. The best way to teach the words, the pronunciation of the words which have silent letters is drill your student. For example, as I said now, comb, repeat after me, comb, several times, they will be able to say the word correctly. Comb, through drills, repetitive drills. We use repetitive drills to teach the words that have silent letters. Okay? Repetitive drills. Repetitive drills, a drill means something or a statement that you keep repeating several times.
Empty. Empty, like empty.
Empty. Yes. Empty. The reason we have the M and the P or the M and the B because the M and the B are both what? Bilabials. The M is pronounced through the lips and the B also is pronounced through the lips. So that's why we sacrifice one for another. Lamb, that's it. Empty. Empty. We don't say empty. No. Empty. Okay? So, silent letters is another problem for teaching pronunciation. What else? And I said silent letters, how do we teach it? Repetitive drills. What about the non-existent sounds? By what? Minimal pairs. Good. Minimal pairs. What's the third problem? Another problem. Very good. The stress. Stress is a major problem between English and Arabic. Stress. What do you mean by stress? How do we emphasize which syllable receives the highest pitch of our sound? The loudness of the syllable. First, we should, when we talk about stress, we should know what we mean by syllables. Because there is very much, or there is a close relationship between syllables and stress. What do we mean by syllables? The smallest sound unit in a word. The smallest sound unit in a word. Sound unit, not sound. If we say the smallest sound, this is phoneme. But if you say the smallest sound unit, this is the syllable. A word like book. How many sound units do we have? Book. 1. How many phonemes? 3. But 1. Book. 1. Teacher. Teacher. 2. Teacher, 2 syllables. There is one simple, easy way to identify the syllables. We count the vowel sounds within the word. The vowel sounds. And the number of the vowel sounds equals the number of syllables. Understand? A word like education. How many syllables? Education. 4. We count the number of vowel sounds. The number of vowel sounds equals the number of syllables. Now, in Arabic, the stress is usually placed on the last syllable. In Arabic, the stress is usually on the last syllable. What happens in English? It's usually on the first syllable. Just a second. Again, in English, we are talking now about the stress